Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children, leaders, welcome to an episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my Anthony. This is a Judo podcast for Judo players by two Judo players. So, Anthony, how you doing? How are you getting ready to go to Japan, actually?
I don't think I told you this, but did I tell you my friends that I'm supposed to go with canceled last minute?
What? No, you did not tell me that.
Yeah.
How does this keep on happening to you, Anthony?
I also told you about the health problems I had so right before we started recording, but yeah, it's just a lot.
Did they pay for their rooms yet and there's canceling or what?
Long story short, it's not their fault. They had like a really serious emergency come up at work. Mm-hmm. So there's financially it's not a problem, right? Like it's not like we're losing any money or anything. Me and my wife and my friend, all three of us had to like make reservation changes and calls and stuff to change the rooms. And but the hardest part is they've never been to Japan before. So when I planned this trip, it was all a lot
of first timer stuff.
Yeah, a lot of first timer stuff. And if I had a choice, I would not have gone back to stay as many days in Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka. But yeah, it's just a really last minute change. And I try to I can still cancel the hotels, but the places I want to go instead, they're all booked full because it's cherry blossom season. So I'm just gonna have to stay. I'm gonna do a lot of shopping this trip, basically.
All right, so you can get me. Yeah. There's a new gi out. Okay. Oh, we're both gonna get those Jigoro Okano original stretchy. Yeah. No, we're not.
No, I'm actually gonna go buy that.
Oh my god, I'm gonna buy that thing. The thing's like $300, man.
No, it's more. It's like
it's more than 300. Oh, actually, I need you to go to the New Japan store and get me.
No, for real, because. For real, I'm basically most of the time going to be in Tokyo and Osaka. We're going to, because I can't change the hotels, so we decided to just take day trips out instead of staying in the countryside. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I need to get my fortune, like
Fortune
red or modified or something. Well, okay, it's only March.
You got to go to Meiji Shrine. All right. You got to go to the Big Power Shrine. Go to Meiji Shrine. Go pray there. Okay. Get some good juju. Yeah. And what's that other big one? Oh, there's another big one that
I'm going to Shikoku. There's 88 temples around the.
Oh yeah, do that.
That's a pilgrimage. I'll just drive around all 88 temples.
No, you can't drive. You got to wear the white suit, the big hat.
That's gonna take 3 months to do. Yeah, especially with my knee, it was gonna take like 3 months.
You love walking sticks, all right?
I actually bought a hiking poles for my knee because we're going to hike a little bit. But yeah, I was stressing out over changing the bookings. But I think for now we're just gonna accept it for what it is and just it's like a shopping trip and we're gonna see more friends, like spend more time seeing friends in Tokyo and stuff. Like I have a friend that moved back to the US that's in Japan right now, so we're gonna go visit her. One of my friends got pregnant, another one just had a baby. So we're just gonna see it as like a shopping and visiting a friend's trip and maybe hit up some local neighborhoods in Tokyo and Osaka that are less touristy, you know, like there's one time where we just got off a random train stop and walked, you know, that's kind of fun.
That's what I did when I missed when I got off on the wrong train station going from Yushin Akami's gym. I was like, yeah, I don't want to get back on the train or just walk back to the hotel. How long is this? 35, 45 minutes? I'll walk. I just walked through Tokyo to get to my hotel. But was that another power shrine that's right next to the Tokyo Tower?
Tower.
The one that's that the old shoguns are buried at.
Meiji Shrine?
No, it's not Meiji. It's another one. It's right next to Tokyo Tower.
I don't know.
That's supposed to be a good look one.
Well, I might go back to the shrine where I proposed to my wife because, like, that was we haven't been back since then. So, yeah. I also told you I'm building an ADU. I had to contract her out, so we've been just like right before we leave, we're trying to deal with all this stuff, which is annoying. But that's how it is. But that's why we're recording this 2 days before I'm leaving.
By the time this comes out, you will be in Tokyo.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, I'll be in Tokyo. So follow my Instagram if you want to see stories and posts of me from the trip. I'm kind of nervous about the TSA stuff, so I'm probably going to show up early. But
I told you, dude, get there like 3 hours early.
yeah, that's the plan. I mean, on the way there, we're flying business class. On the way back, we're just flying premium economy.
Mhm.
So on the way there, at least if we show up early, we can go in the lounge and chill. But honestly, the LAX lounge was disappointing compared to lounges. If you've been to like lounges in Asia, they're so much better than American lounges. I should have done it
Why?
I should have done it the other way around. We'll just fly premium economy there and fly business back. Next time
Uh-huh.
I'll know. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay, let's get into some judo news or some martial art
Yeah.
news at least. Okay, so in good judo news, Kayla Harrison's now training again. They haven't scheduled her new fight yet, but she's
That's
put videos.
crazy. After neck surgery, like
Yeah, I know.
for
And I don't know when her fight's going to be, but she already posted that she's back in the gym. She's training. I don't know if it's light training, sparring, heavy, what she's grappling or striking. I don't know what, but she says she's training again.
Aikido.
She's doing Aikido. Yeah. She's doing all the most Aikido judo throws everybody right now.
Yeah.
All Tewaza, just Tewaza,
Yeah.
Tewaza, Tewaza. So
Yeah.
I don't know when the UFC's going to announce her fight and stuff, but she's doing well. She says she's training. So good for her. Hope she heals up and hope she doesn't get herself hurt even more than she already is. Other judo news. So everybody knows that I'm going to be a little Hollywood judo news, I guess you call it, because we all know Ronda Rousey's come out of retirement. She's in that fight for MVP on Netflix.
Yep.
But she was so some people might know, I was at a wrestling show last weekend. I was at the AEW show, and guess who showed up? Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Oh,
She came there, crowd booed her. I was probably the only person in my crowd saying, "Yay!"
well, she was a
Ronda."
heel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she was a face, which is a good guy. Then just her real natural personality came out, and she naturally became a heel after that.
Oh, okay.
Because she's a natural heel. It's just some people are good guys, some people are bad guys. Me, sometimes I'm a bad guy, sometimes I'm a good guy. Rhonda, always a bad guy. So she came out, pointed out one of the wrestlers. God, I can't remember her name right now, but pointed out one of the wrestlers. They had a little face to face and stuff, a little funny thing. Then another wrestler come and attack her, and everyone's like, "Oh, is she going to do a wrestling match now? Is she going to wrestle at Wembley? Is she going to do a wrestling match before her MMA fight? Is she going to do it after MMA fight? I don't know if she's doing this just to promote her MMA fight or what." But she's back in the wrestling atmosphere as well as the MMA atmosphere now. So that was pretty interesting.
Yep.
And it was just really weird because this woman that was behind me, she was booing so much. I was like, "Yay, Rhonda!" I could literally hear her go like, "Why is he cheering her?" And I was like, "Because I'm judo. That's why." I don't support a lot she says or a lot she does, but I gotta support my judo players out there. Same with Aaron Wolf. I gotta support Aaron Wolf out there. Oh, that's what I wanted to get you. I'm gonna get you something. If I can find it, I'm gonna get this thing for you. All right.
And all right.
So that's
Last
good.
thing you got me, Matt, it doesn't fit me. Well, actually, the last three things you got me doesn't really fit me, and I had to give it to my wife. So
Maybe I'm getting for Jessica, not for you. Okay. Use you as my little side thing. A little bit of local judo news, and we talked about how you feel about this. I know you think it's kind of weird. So everybody knows that there's kind of a little bit of problem of outside grapplers, outside martial artists coming to judo tournaments and competing in white belt divisions. The biggest thing is that you can be a BJJ black belt, high level BJJ black belt, high level open grappler or something, sambo player, and then join judo and go compete as a white belt and beat up on people that don't know what they're doing. So Nanka has done this thing now where your smooth comp has to be open and public so they can look at it, because they're not going to allow, if you're a brown or black belt, you cannot be competing in novice divisions anymore. They're going to bump you up to intermediate or advanced depending on what level you are. What do you think about this, Anthony?
I think it's stupid.
Straight up, straight out there.
Yeah. It's, first of all, they're just creating more work for themselves. That's not scalable. I mean, if it's a small tournament, like 150, 200 people, then sure, you can go through all the things. But like, you're telling me if like 300, 400, 500 people sign up for this, you're going to go through every single person's smooth comp profile.
They're going to have AI do it or something, or some bot do it, because I can say
look at how the AI wrote what do you call it? Krista Taguchi is a silver medalist from the Paris Olympics.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing.
And I emailed them and they never fixed it.
Well, that's another weird thing that Naka, whoever's doing their social media and stuff, I'm not dissing you or nothing. If you listen to podcasts, I do think they're
I know
great
who
work.
does it. So
I just think they're doing a little bit too much AI stuff because they'll put up these AI videos of like this local tournament coming up, and they'll put an AI video up, and these guys are like 360 spins in the air, body spinning one direction, leg spinning the other direction. Yeah. And I was like, come on, you can fix that.
Okay, I don't want to shit on it too much, but I mean, I understand why, but I think it's not scalable, which is leading to our topic today, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's scalable. They're just creating more work for themselves. It's not accurate because there's a lot of jiu-jitsu people that never don't use smooth comp. Like for example, Jiu-Jitsu World League doesn't use smooth comp. They have their own system. IBJJF doesn't use smooth comp, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so what like
people are gonna fall through the cracks.
I just don't understand. And this is like, how do I say this? There are people who have competed in BJJ tournaments that have like completely trash stand-up skills, so now they're not allowed to compete in novice. So like, I think the solution was always to leave it up to the instructor. The instructors know the grapplers, not like the tournament director looking at a smooth comp profile. And you're also going to have these like super athletic people that just are going to completely destroy some accountant that just like never did judo before. And so the senseis will know, like, oh, you should compete in an intermediate, you should compete as a novice, right? What
if
they should do,
sensei, if they're an honest sensei,
if they're honest. So what they should do is basically, how to word this properly. There should be consequences for, let's just call it cheating and sandbagging, right? Like we talked about that kid that weighed over 10 pounds. I guarantee you there was no consequences to that other than disqualification. They're going to do it again next time.
Hopefully not get caught.
Yeah, like that. This time they're going to be more careful, or maybe like if they only really, what happens if they never check the weight, right? If the coach never said anything, then they wouldn't have weighed them, right?
Yeah.
So there's like literally no consequences. And I talked about, I'm not going to point out which scenario because it's going to be really obvious what I'm talking about. There was that guy who was a brown belt from a different country, came here and signed up for a novice division. So like those things, when you're discovered or when you're like looking at them and like, that guy's not a freaking novice, right? There needs to be consequences, and these people need to be publicly shamed, because that's the thing that will stop this, not making the smooth comp profile public. That's what I think. So,
well, I will say this. So I have two interesting examples of stuff. So one with us at our dojo, we had a BJJ black belt guy come to our dojo, train for a little while, really wanted to compete in the black belt division. We signed off on it. And what happened? He got hurt like his second match.
Yeah.
His second match, he got hurt, and we haven't seen him in 2 years. We haven't seen him. He hasn't been back since.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that because I know some stuff.
And then another thing is like, me, I was thinking about doing open grappling. I was going to do a Naga tournament. I was like, you know what? I feel good. I might go do a Naga tournament because Naga was going to like this big discount for senior members. And I was like, I'll do 40 division. Why not? Let's see. Let's have some fun. And I wanted to sign up for intermediate division because I haven't competed in Nogi in a long time. I want to do intermediate, not advanced. Naga would not, and this is on smooth comp, would not let me sign up for intermediate. It kept forcing me to sign up for beginners. And I was like, well, if they want me to do beginners, then I'll do beginners.
Well, you didn't have a instructor, which is why I think, going back to what I said, it should be left up to the coach, instructor. And this, before smooth comp, you used to have a, well, technically you're still supposed to, you need the instructor or a black belt to sign off on you competing, saying, you know the rules, you're not going to do dumb shit. Like, there's a lot of this is my problem with like letting certain BJJ schools that don't have any judo coaching qualifications or anything just sign up, because you do see it. Like, we do see like Gracie Baja blah 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 is like showed up at this judo tournament, and I'm like, okay, is he gonna do some like illegal things, you know?
Is he having a legal gi?
Well, we did see people show up in the BJJ gi, and the tournament officials didn't say anything, though. They complained about someone's and our school's gi not being, it's like 1 centimeter off or something, and they complained about it. But yeah, there's just a lot of problems. They should be signing off, but now with smooth comp, anyone can just sign up and sign up as unaffiliated, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a liability problem, but because they're making more money out of this, then unless they get sued, nothing's going to change. So, yeah.
All right, so that's a little interesting thing happening. Now to some sad news. Now this is necessarily, it is judo news in a part because he did have a black belt in judo. By the time this video came out, all you would have known that Chuck Norris passed away. Chuck Norris is probably one of the most famous Tong Sudo black belts there is. Me, myself, I'm also a Tong Sudo black belt. My lineage goes through Chuck Norris. My instructor, his instructor were in the UFES system. They actually trained with Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris created the UFES system, created an American Tong Sudo Association. So we trained with Chuck Norris, and we used to go to his conventions in Vegas back in the day till like we had dissociated from them. But yeah, so my lineage goes through Chuck Norris. My instructor trained with him. I never got to meet him personally and stuff, but it's very sad to hear about this. Now you might be like, what do you mean he's part of our in judo? Well, Chuck Norris, the whole story is that when he was in Korea, he was training judo, got hurt his arm, then went to Tong Sudo, got his black belt in Tong Sudo, continued doing judo. When he came back from Korea, he had a brown belt in judo and a black belt in Tong Sudo. By the time he passed away, he had a black belt in judo, black belt in Tong Sudo, and a black belt in Machado BJJ. So he was all into all that system. And then I talked about his UFEF system, which is American Tong Sudo Association. He created his second system, Chuk Kondo, which had more BJJ and judo in it with Tong Sudo. So it's just sad to see him go. He was, I want to say he was 87. I should look this up, but he was.
Yeah, he is 87.
Yeah, he was 87 when he passed away. And it's just all those memes came out when he passed away, like nothing can kill Chuck. Chuck's been dead for 10 years. Death just came and told him finally, or grabbed the courage to tell him. Underneath Chuck Norris's beard, there's another fist. And, Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes down earth and pushes it back, pulls it back up. So it's a sad thing seeing these martial artists pass away. And it's someone that, in a weird way, I kind of grew up with watching all his videos and stuff. I kind of I'm associated with him through my lineage of Tong Sudo, and just, it's just a big loss in martial art community. But you know what's going to happen. The guy's 87, and made it all the way to 87. That's a big accomplishment,
I mean, I will say he's a very flawed human. Mm-hmm. Those who know what I'm talking about, but you can't deny the contribution he's made to martial arts. So
yeah. So that's just that part. So Anthony, before I start crying and start tearing up and stuff, what's today's main topic?
Yeah, there's one more thing. Listener comments from the last one.
Oh, okay.
Last episode. So we had people really liked it. I'm surprised. I mean, it was a pain to edit because I had to edit out so much stuff. Yeah, as I was listening to it, I'd listen to it 4 or 5 times over. Mm-hmm. Usually when I edit, I only have to re-listen to the thing like twice, but 4 or 5 times over, and I kept removing parts, which is why some parts, especially the end, felt a little disjointed. Mm-hmm. But someone mentioned that they asked a lot about the kids stuff. Read the comments if you want. I actually told you about this yesterday, Juan, but I been meaning to talk about kids program and how to teach kids, and especially youth sports crisis, that I think nobody's really aware that it's happening.
What, kids want to stay home and play video games more than go out and do sports? What you talking about?
Well, it's not just that. It's just kids just are anyway. Like, I don't want to go off.
You have to get into it right now.
Yeah, basically, I invited someone that's more qualified to talk about it than me, because if I talked about it based off of my knowledge and my research and stuff, it'll just everyone say, "What does this guy know?" But I invited someone that's more qualified to talk about it, but he is really busy, so he said let's revisit it in May. So I'm gonna try and schedule it. It'll probably be like 3 or 4 months down the road, because I'm also potentially getting knee surgery, so all this stuff is.
We're gonna live stream it too. We're gonna live stream knee surgery.
So if we don't talk about it, then it's because I have it coming up. So that's that. And also, I posted a new video on the newsletter. Some people left some comments, and I want to clarify that I use the term inside Uchimata when I really should have said hip Uchimata versus leg Uchimata, because I think more people would understand what I'm saying if I use that term, even though I don't like it, which is why I use the term inside Uchimata. But it should be hip versus leg if you don't understand what I'm saying. So there's that. Okay, yeah. On to the main topic, because I have to pack. I gotta edit this, upload it, and pack. That's what I have to do.
All right, so we're gonna talk about scaling stuff.
Yeah, we've addressed it in the past when we were talking about pedagogy and stuff. We talked about scalability in training. Like, we talked about how a lot of dojos will be like, do 100 push-ups or do whatever, and some people can't do it. And an alternative is scaling it or designing scalability into your practices. Like, instead of 100 push-ups, tell them to do as many push-ups as possible in 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. So everyone gets to have their own like difficulty, right? So this is a topic I want to address more in depth. I didn't actually do a lot of prep for this. It's just based off of what I've seen and what I've learned the last few years. So we actually see scalability built into a lot of traditional training. Like, I want to start off with beyond the warm-ups thing that we said is we've been having Konosuke train here with us. He's a college level player and was briefly on the company team, I think. So he's been training out of Hollywood for the last a little less than a year, I guess. Yeah,
a little less than a year.
Yeah, so I got to talk with him a lot, especially since I traveled with him to President's Cup and stuff. So we had a lot of time to bond, and I was talking to him about how Japanese training works more in detail, right? Because I already had a rough idea. And for those of you guys who like do research online and stuff, you know the Japanese train like twice a day, 6 days a week. So all that is true, right? But I also asked him like about the dedicated uke system, because when we went to President's Cup, one of the things that he mentioned to me was, I wish I could have had a dedicated uke that traveled with me. I was like, what?
I wish I had a human throwing dummy that I could beat up on all the time.
Yeah, so I need to be very careful what I said, because some of the stuff he said, I don't think he wants me to say it publicly, but he basically said everyone has a dedicated uke, and we know that. Like, we know Uta Abe, we knew Hifumi Abe. They all had like a dedicated training partner that they would train with and travel with and do warm-ups with, right? But I guess I didn't know how embedded into the Japanese training system it is. Like, I knew in a college team or company teams it would make sense to have one, but apparently even in high school and university, like casual university, there is a system. So I asked him, like, how do you
get
determine
picked? Yeah,
how do you know if you're a uke or a tori, and how do you ask? And he was like, oh, you just know. Like,
oh, you know. You
just know. Like, and he says like the tories tend to be more selfish, is what he said. So that's as far as I'm going to go in detail on that regard. But he basically says you go up to someone, you ask them, and then you also have to get approved by the sensei. So
you have to bring them candy and flowers and a note. Will you be my uke?
Yeah. So I asked him, and he was like, yeah, usually the ukes know how to give you the right look, like in wrestling, the term like gave you the right resistance. So in judo, we'd call being a good uke, but I don't want to say that because that's just so nebulous, and it means different things. But you're basically around a similar size and weight, and you are giving them like a good reaction, like a realistic reaction, and you're also able to work with them well. So if they ask you to do something in a certain way, you're able to like adapt to it. So that's to me, I'm like, oh, that's like scalability, right? Because in the system we're growing up, we grew up with here as people that started as adults, it's like you show up and your training partner for that day is whoever's
there that day. Yeah.
And if you're in a small club, like I did when I first started, it's going to be someone that's like half like half the size of me, right?
Well, okay, yes, it is whoever's there that day, but we all gravitate towards people that we like working with more, you know?
Yeah,
We all do
yeah.
that.
But it might not be this person that's the same size, same skill level. They might not be a good partner, right? But I was like, oh man, I want a dedicated uke too. Like someone that can give me exactly the right resistance I want and around the same size. And they're basically, their whole job is to make you good. They get kind of some training themselves too, but they're like your uke. They're not a tori, they're a uke.
Yeah.
So that to me was like scalability, because you're, instead of like training with a bunch of random people, you are always having the same partner, the same variables, right? The same reaction, the same grips, the same size, the same strength, the same reactions. So that is what you start off with when you practice a technique like drills, uchikomi, nagekomi, grip fighting. So you're having that. And then from that, after you practice that, you go back, start applying it to other people from that are maybe the same size but different reactions, right? And then from there you go even like to compete other dojos. So that kind of makes a lot of sense to me in terms of scalability. And we kind of, I'm not saying like we need the same partner all the time, but in practice, if you think about it, most clubs, it's like you swap partners, especially kids class. It's like you do this drill, swap partners. You do this drill, swap partners, right? So I actually experimented with this in the intermediate class when last year. I was like, this is your partner, stay with them the whole class. You're not allowed to swap partners. And I actually saw like people pick up the technique a lot faster that way. And also they were able to adapt better in the following classes versus in the beginning you're just like constantly swapping, right? It's like they're still trying to figure stuff out and you're like constantly swapping the size, the weight, the reaction, and all that stuff. So I found a lot more success in that, and which is why nowadays I'm very careful about when I tell kids to swap partners. So when I start seeing them like do success, like the desirable difficulty we talked about, like when they start succeeding too much, then it becomes like a performance, like they're just throwing it over and over again. I'm like, okay, it's too easy now. Swap partners, swap this guy, you're gonna go with the bigger guy, you're gonna go with the smaller guy. The person who's struggling, I might partner them up with a better uke. So I think this is like a thing that we kind of understand in judo that is available to us as a coaching tool, but a lot of people don't use it. They're just like, oh, you're bored, swap partners. Like,
well, I think it's one of those things where when you do, like, there's certain techniques when you teach, like, I find it more with Ashiwaza personally, actually. Certain Ashiwaza techniques where you will teach it and you have them work all day with, like you said, they'll be
specifically foot sweeps, right?
A lot of foot sweeps and stuff, mostly, you know, they'll work with one partner all day or all class long with that one person, get it. And then I'll do it on purpose. I'm going to mess them up. Like, okay, guys, I'll switch somebody else. And they're like, oh, I just lost everything. But like, that's how it is sometimes, guys.
Yeah.
You can work all day with one person, get it with that body type, that movement, that person. And then as soon as you go to a slightly different body type, you have to start all over again. And it's just, it's some people get it. Some people just, oh, I figured it out already and I can still do it to people. But I see a lot of them, especially when they first learn, when they get to a different body type, they have a hard time. And it's the thing about scalability. We're scaling it up or scaling it down for somebody. And can you adjust? Another way that we use scalability, I kind of find this, and this is, I think that's it's one of those things where I can't remember what the word for it is saying. It's where people come to this conclusion on their own, and I'm happy they figure it out. Is that, well, if I want to work on this one throw or this one newaza technique, if I can do it to and this is when you go down to up, you know, it's like I'm a brown belt, whatever. Okay, I'm working on this one throw or a new style. Okay, if I can do it to a yellow belt, then I can probably do it to an orange belt. Then I go up to an orange belt. Then I do it to an orange belt. Then you just go up and up and up. So it's like, okay, if I can hit it on these lower ranks, then I get good at it so that I can hit it on a higher rank or someone maybe it's even higher than me.
Yeah, I think for people like us that once we get to like an intermediate level or something, then yeah, we can just like go by belt rank, right? Yeah. Like the last episode I talked about my struggles with Uchimata, like how I can do it on smaller people that are black belts and bigger people that are lower ranked, right?
Yeah.
But I think for a beginner, even that's not enough, scaled down enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can't go like lower than white, or if you're yellow, it's like I go against a
just
white
cut
belt.
an arm off, you know. Like,
But it's kind of like the most dangerous person to fight with sometimes is a brand new white belt that don't know what they're doing. So it's the hardest person to throw sometimes, especially for a beginner. So that's when you come down to things of where, and we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves now, but not necessarily, I hate using the word dumbing it down, but simplifying the technique more and boiling it down to what are the main mechanics or what are the main thing they need to do to get the person over.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing wrong simplifying a technique down. Like you build upon it, you build up, you know. And it'd be beautiful to have the same partner all the time, you know, it'd be great, but we can't have that in our situation. And
I don't want to delve too far down into this swapping partner thing and the dedicated uke, but this is just something I noticed. And so for certain, like in the intermediate class, if we're working on certain particular, like really difficult things, specifically like grip fighting stuff, I would have them stick to the same partner. That was ideally what I'd like to do. But the problem is the intermediate class is there's too many people. I talked about how there's too many people, right? So we don't have enough mat space. So what I ended up having to do is I have them group up in groups of 3 or 4. And then you guys are fighting each other for randori. Like one person stays in for like 3 or 4 rounds and the next person stays in 3 or 4 rounds. So that's the kind of like workaround I got from that. But ideally, if we had more mat space or a smaller class, I would just tell them you're gonna randori with the same guy the whole time. And there was one time where there was like everyone was sick because there was a flu going around in COVID.
Yeah.
So the class was smaller, and I did do that where I'm like, you're just gonna partner with the same person the whole time. And the problem was this will be an issue if you try to do this, is people get bored or they don't like working with that person. Or they're like the right partner for them in terms of learning, like for the difficulty, but because they are the right partner, it's uncomfortable and it's hard, right? Because we talked about how if you're able to do the thing, then it's like performing, but we want you to fail sometimes. So people just want to switch partners or work with their girlfriend or work with a friend that they came up training with, right? So that's always kind of hard, is getting people to understand, hey, I'm not just like making a partner with this guy for fun. There's a reason behind this. And you can, if you just want to do it for judo for fun, then fine, go partner with whoever you want. But if you want to get better, there's a reason why I'm partnering with this person. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's part of learning, right? So basically what I'm saying is when you do randori, maybe sometimes depending on the skill you're working on, it might be better for people to go multiple rounds with the same person instead of just every round go with someone else. Because that seems to be the general norm. Even with kids, the kids would be like, but I already went with Tommy. And I'm like, yeah, go with him again. Like,
so
so it's like they feel like that night they have to hit up a different person every time. And I think that might be fun, but it might not be the best for, especially if you're doing deliberate practice, it might not be good for developing that particular thing you're working on that night. Yeah. So that's the randori part, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about task. You kind of dove into it, but task simplification, like simplifying the task. And I wrote a whole newsletter about it. Task decomposition versus task simplification. You always want to avoid breaking stuff down into its separate chunks and then putting it back together, because most of the research, eco or not, right, ecological approach or not, most research has shown that it doesn't really work that well. But again, people are more comfortable that way because when you break it into separate chunks, they can do it. And
just foot, now just leg, now just arms.
Basically. So you see a lot of beginners do that. And I mean, speaking as someone that did that when he was a beginner, it doesn't work. Like, there are times where you want to do that. I won't delve into it. There are times you want to do that, but it's not the first tool I would do. Especially, you're going to see a lot of instructors like, oh, you're a white belt, okay, we're going to start off learning this first and this first. Like, they just default to that tool firsthand. Versus for me, I default to doing the whole thing, And then if they can't do it, then I'll simplify the task. And if I simplify it and it still doesn't work, it means they probably don't have the capacity to actually do that movement. Then I might start breaking it down into different parts, right? So one example would be I'm going to use this example because a lot of dojos do it, even if they're not eco, is the hip position fighting drill. You know how they kind of have each person trying to get their hips in front of each other? If you don't have them, you don't give the right constraints, what usually happens is one person starts stiff arming, right? So that might be really difficult for someone to actually land a throw, especially if they are not athletic. So the way that I simplify the task is whoever gets the top grip is not allowed to grab onto any fabric. That way he can't stiff arm with the arm. It's easier for the other person to slip through and get the hip position. Or what you kind of start seeing is they start posting with the hand, which is still like stiff arming, but it's easier to slip past, right?
Yeah.
So they're and they're also forced to defend the throws by moving their feet and hips instead of just relying on their arms and bending over. So that's one way of simplifying it versus I don't know what people would do if they were breaking it down. It's just like, just dead drill it, right? But
well, you do it like I think if you were to simplify it even more, it'd just be like when it was like 1, 2, 3, I guess.
Yeah.
We're just like, okay, we pop the arm up, we bring shoulder down, we go underneath.
Or they would prescribe a solution like break the grip, right? Which I don't think is a good way of going around it. But that's one way of simplifying it. And then when they get a lot of success from the hip throw, then I'll be like, okay, now you can grab the gi and stiff arm if you want. So now it's like increasing the difficulty by scaling it up. But there's a lot of little things you can do like that. I'm trying to think what else. You can simplify the task by adjusting the grips. Maybe you can only use one hand, or maybe their partner has to throw on their offside, like their bad side. Like all these little dials you can adjust to simplify or make the task more complicated, as opposed to what you say, like dumbing it down, like totally. So
yeah. Well, you can't use the word dumbing it down because it makes people upset and stuff. But it's the simplify and boiling it down to its main parts.
And by using this, like back to the grip example, if there's a white belt and there's an orange belt in my class, I could be like, okay, the white belt you can't grab the back; you can only do open palm. The orange belt you can grab the back, and this way we're all like doing the same game drill. We're all working on the hip position fighting skill, but you can adapt it to different people, right? So this is why I think scalability is something that's really, really missed, and it's coaches know about it, but I think it's underused as a tool.
Yeah. Well, I think that sometimes people just don't want to admit that they have to bring it down a little bit. You know, it's like, this is an intermediate class. They should all have this. This is an advanced class. They should all this. Well, sometimes people have tough times of learning. Like I said, when we did the last episode, I'm very good at getting most throws, but like I had the most hardest time in the world trying to get Taitoshi when I first learned it and stuff. And it was a weird thing of Philippe making it harder. It was technically making it harder for me, which simplified it for me to get it. You know, showing me that fancy step to cross in that should be more complicated for people made it like super easier for me. You don't know what's going to fix it for somebody, you know? So maybe you scale it a little bit harder. They'll understand like, okay, now I have to work to get my hip into somebody. You give them like a harder task to do into it, or you give them a bigger person, forces them to do good technique, where if they have someone lighter than them or just told, hey, just go out there and do it like this. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. But giving them a harder task, even just, it will enforce the proper way of doing it, or just to make you try harder to get the technique.
Yeah. So
and we always the thing that we have all those things, but sometimes I think people just forget to use them.
Yeah. I want to give like a more, I don't want to say advanced, but like a more complicated example of that. Because the simple stuff, like I said, is size of the partner, weight of the partner, height, and then the grips, right? And or you can like if you can also use environmental constraints like making the arena you're fighting in like larger or smaller, like your cones.
You can't get past
right?
these two. You have 2 tatamis to stay in. If you can't do it in these 2 tatami spaces,
Yeah, because some people, because that kind of the constraining how big the space you're in will make people push back harder or have more movement. Like if you have more space to move, then there'll be longer gaps of openings open. So there are things that you can play around with. But the more advanced or example of scalability I use is instead of teaching combinations, which I don't like doing, especially for kids, is I want kids to destabilize the partner, the opponent. So instead of telling them to do like execute a chain of combinations, like a predetermined set, I would just tell them I want them to destabilize it. I don't use the term destabilize, but the problem is when you tell the other person to move the other person by chaining attacks, especially for kids, is they after they do that first move, they are usually destabilized themselves. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like because they lifted up their leg, they're like off balance, so they can't really execute the next move as well. And or the after they execute the kochi or ochi, if you can imagine it, is their foot lands in the wrong spot for the attack. That's how that's when they destabilize and you see the kids like, oh, ochi into seonage. So they ochi and they land too close or too far and they do seonage and they fall backwards. So how I scaled that down was I told the kids that there's 2 things. Well, I'm not going to go over the grips because I also added a rule on the grips, but there's 2 things I want them to do. I want them to move their partner around the tatami and also tap their leg twice before you attack with a turn throw. And I said, I don't care if the tap is just a light touch or whether you actually move them with an actual kochi or ochi. So what you end up doing is with the tap, they just lift up their legs and touch it, and then they bring it back down and they're stable. And so they're able to kind of like destabilize themselves a little less and land in a more stable position for a turn throw. So that is how I scaled down that task. And I did this for the last couple of weeks, and the kids are now like, without me telling them to do combinations, they're actually doing that with like with pretty good success rate. So we just need to do more of it because not all the kids, especially the white belts and the younger kids, they're not all able to do it. But the more experienced kids are actually starting to do combinations now versus before. For a long time, you hear this in coaches all the time, and I can't believe I heard it in the Cadet World Championships was Ochi Kochi. Ochi and Seonage, Kochi and Seonage, combinations. Like you hear that in coaching all the time, and it's like, why do you need to remind them at this point?
Yeah,
during competition, it means during the learning.
Thanks, coach. I totally forgot that. Totally forgot about that combination.
Like, why do you need to tell them that during the competition? Right? They should have already internalized that during training. And if you need them to yell it out, if you need to yell it out for them to execute it during competition, then something's wrong. So
something happened.
Yeah. But that's a more like complicated example of how you can simplify a task such as destabilization. So and combinations. I mean, it's gonna be a short episode because that's all I have. Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Like we just wanted to get it out there because we talked about this before and stuff, and we give like little examples of how we do it. And the same thing with our classes. You know, it's like it's okay, and I just want to put it out there. It's okay to simplify stuff. It doesn't always have to be the most fanciest way. You saw a video of this Olympic player doing something, teaching. It's like, oh, I have to do that. Break it down. It's okay to teach stuff simpler or easier in each class. The way you're going to teach your advanced guys, they should be able to do it after they see it. You know, your intermediate guys, you have to explain stuff to them, and your beginner guys, you have to teach them every little step, and that's all right. You know, you can't teach each class the same. Each class has to be a little bit different.
This is the example I gave was really easy for the kids class because the kids will do what you tell them to, assuming they want to do judo, right? Because a lot of kids don't want to be there; they're just being forced to be there. Assuming that you tell them to do something, they'll do it, right? Versus adults, they'll question everything. So now I have to decide everything that I just said in the last 30 minutes, do I stop the class and explain it to them so they actually do and focus on the things I tell them to do? Because most of the time for the adults, when I implemented like these kind of conditions, they'd be like, yeah, fuck your two taps. I'm just going to throw. Like, right?
So that's one thing we talk about, like, that's the consequence. That's when you call people out, you know?
Yeah, but then they if it has to be intrinsic. If they're not learning how to learn and they're just doing what they feel like, or you tell them to focus on certain things and they don't focus it, then this method's not going to work, right? So you might as well just do straight randori and let them figure it out or fail, right?
Yeah.
Another example of something like that I used. I was working specifically on a skill, and I told the room, you need to grab these 3 grips before you're allowed to throw. Like, before you're allowed to do a turn throw. Like, so if you want to do a turn throw, you have to get like a cross collar grip, over the back grip, and a double lapel grip. So only half the room did that. The other half totally either forgot or ignored it. So then you're gonna say, oh, that's ineffective, right? But it's like you weren't even trying. So but
it's like how I teach my beginners class how to do ukemis and stuff. I go over a very simple, easy way of doing ukemis. Like, they're so basic the way I teach ukemis sometimes. It's so simplified that anyone can do it. But then I'll throw them in a fire. It's like, okay, so I taught you a very simple way of doing it. Now we're doing it over a dummy. Now we're doing it over a person. Now you're having a person help you carry you doing this to force them to do it. And to me, it's like that's more of the variable of the not simplifying it, but making it more advanced to make you get better at it. And I know some people would like this, some people don't like it, but I find it kind of forces people to learn how to ukemi faster, like properly faster.
Yeah.
You know? But we all have our little things that we'd like to do to help people get better, either simplifying or making more advanced. So,
yeah. And speaking of someone who also did that, because remember my story about how Sensei Philippe and a bunch of other people were like, no, just do Ushimatsu like this. And I'm like, but that's not how the Japanese did it. And I just kept trying. I just kept trying what I saw on YouTube and how they taught it, and wasted my time. So
years of my life wasted on the style.
So yeah, that's it. I'm interested to see in the comments if you guys have your own ways of dealing with this, or whether you do this at all. And if not, experiment with it. Maybe a few months down the road, you'll leave a comment and be like, oh, I came up with this way of scaling my practice. So,
and I saw more improvement, or I saw less improvement.
Yeah.
And that's Anthony. He loves talking about this stuff. He loves discussing that. All right. Go to our website, send him 10,000 messages about it. He'll answer each of them.
I will say, my first exposure to this was when I was a yellow belt and I visited Shintaro's dojo, and he did the thing where he's like, within like the next 5 minutes, do as many burpees as you can. Like, that's where I kind of first got exposed to it. So kudos to him. Because at that time I was like, I've never been to a dojo that does this, but it makes so much sense. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So Anthony, is there anything else you want to discuss today?
No. This is gonna be pushed out right before I leave. I know we barely made it to the end of the month.
Yeah, we did get a message about like, hey, you guys gonna put anything out sooner? Like, it's coming out this week, all right? It's coming out this week. I'll let you know, all right?
I got a few messages about that too. And it's glad to know people are actually like looking forward to it. So
all right. Yep. So like always, please remember to like, share, subscribe. You can follow me at _Juan on Instagram. You can follow Anthony Thrones on Instagram. You can follow Tatami Talk itself on Instagram. You can also follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. You have any questions, things you want us to go over, things you want us to talk about? We love talking and discussing with you guys. Leave a comment on any of those things, or just send us a direct message at tatamitalk@gmail.com. We also have the website where you have the fun newsletter that Anthony loves making every month. All right. The Threads is dead. It's up there, but I ain't responding to it no more because no one goes on that thing.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All I see on Threads now is people, like, as of today, is just people complaining about the TSA lines.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had someone message me, would you guys be interested in like a Blue Sky? It's like, I ain't got if no one does Threads, I ain't gonna do Blue Sky. It's the same goddamn thing. All right.
I don't know. But Threads is just every time I look at someone complaining about something. So
Yeah.
so if we post on it, we have to complain about USA Judo. That's what
Oh, so that's our complaint site is. All right. So with that, please don't forget to
scale your practices and slap the mat.